Oh, hey y'all. Today I'm playing another block daily, this time with a deck that got second at the premiere event a couple days ago. It's a very aggressive Selesnya based aggro deck, or Selesnya colored, I guess. Um, and fairly simple. Mainly, the reason to play this deck is the precinct captains. Whenever precinct captain deals damage to a player, it puts token into play. So you use that and you build an aggressive shell around it, like you go turn 1 Dryad Militant, turn 2 Captain, then arrest either Azorius Arrest or actual arrest the whatever blocker they play, then hit them, you get a token, and then you can use that to populate it with the Guild Mage or just keep hitting them because you have more creatures in play now. I mean, since it's single set block, you can probably guess the deck list just when I say aggro Selesnya, but uh, obviously the only one drop in Selesnya. Well, I guess you could play Slitherhead, but it's not very good. So we're just playing militants, obviously guild mages, conclaves, or Call of the Conclaves, and Selesnya charms. Also playing arresters for the aforementioned reason of precinct captain. The lockstun spiders and the 4 rootborn defenses, which are pretty much mandatory if you want to play aggro in white, because you rely on a bunch of creatures, and there's a ton of supreme verdicts, Mizium mortars, etc. just running around rampant that you want to deal with. The arrests serve as and the justiciars to a certain point serve as extra points of removal. They aren't usually used for removal, they're more used for removing blockers from the game. Though obviously if you can arrest a pack rat, which is this deck's largest trouble by far, you snap arrest that and don't look back. It's also pretty good against Angel Serenity. You can arrest their Angel Serenity to keep attacking. Though generally, if they resolve Angel Serenity, you no longer have a board, so take that for a grain of salt. Take that with a grain of salt. Mana base is pretty simple. We've got, I believe it's 7 forests. Yeah, 7 forests, 7 plains, the 7 dual lands, 4 temple gardens, and 3 guild gates. And this deck actually plays a Rogue's Passage, which struck me as odd at first when I looked over the deck list, but it actually makes a lot of sense. Since if you're not playing against Rakdos, the board can get clogged quite a bit, especially if you're playing against another Selesnya deck or the Bant control deck. So having a Rogue's Passage to let your Lockstone Smiter or just even Precinct Captain get through every turn is usually enough to let you win the game, or at least try to keep you in it. If you get them down really far and you need just a Rogue's Passage to kill them, it's there. And the last card is a Pithing Needle, sort of just as a catch-all answer to anything. Pack Rat, Key Runes, that sort of thing. Also gets Hellhole Flare, Lotleth Troll. Those are all common main deck cards. But obviously not playing additional Pithing Needles, because in Game 1 you want to be as aggressive as possible. For the sideboard, and this deck is 75 identical cards to the premiere event because I just wanted to try it out. I haven't played very many games with this, it's not enough to make changes. So you probably immediately jump to these, most likely because they're in old borders. Giant Growths. Giant Growth is actually pretty good. I was surprised by it. The deal is, your creatures are small and people play around Selesnya Charm, but no one plays around Giant Growth. So you can just make attacks that they'll think, oh, this is a pretty even trade if he has Selesnya Charm, because they'll just charm his creature and we'll trade. But Giant Growth has that extra point of toughness and power, so you can one-up those trades to make it a 1-for-1 instead of a 2-for-1. Or you can also just get in 3 extra damage. Obviously not as versatile as a charm, but it helps your soldier tokens kill Lockstone Spiders if they really need to. Helps your militants, or your guild mages survive against the same Lockstone Smiters if you're on the attack. So this card's actually pretty good against the green mirrors, especially. Centaur Healers, obviously for Rakdos. Still a very big deck in this format. You gotta have Centaur Healers if you're playing green-white. There's no reason not to. It's a very good card against them, blocks the majority of their creatures, gains you a life. Also, the Tristanes are partially for Rakdos as well, though you can bring him in against control if you think it's going to be grindier. Though I generally don't, because usually if you get behind in control, you're not going to get back up ahead, because they have Sphinx's Revelations, and you have nothing in that scale. So once you get behind, you just kind of can't do anything else. So that's why I just don't bring in Selesnya against control. It's very good against the creature decks, though. Because of the life gain and the populate, you can pad your life total and create a board state where you're more likely to win. Sun and Growth's usually for control. It just kills key runes and detention spheres and gives you a creature. And of course, more Pithing Needles in the sideboard for pack rat primarily, but also anything you want them against. Like if Rakdos Key Rune is giving you a hard time in Jund, you'd want to bring it in against that. Or if you want to you're playing against just straight blue-white control, which is still played sometimes, and they generally only play Azorius Key Runes and Angels of Serenity as win conditions. So if you can shut down their key runes, you might have enough time before they draw an Angel of Serenity to kill them. But, it's kind of far-fetched, but you can do it. That's why it's there. You can do anything with Pithing Needle. But yeah, that's the deck. I've already done the daily, but you don't know that. So I'm going to pretend that we're going into round 1 right now. So the next video you'll watch will be round 1. So let's go to round 1.